welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some Sims that I've been making for Halloween or Cymbeline. And I wasn't first going to record this, so a few of the girls I didn't record, but I'll show you kind of the end process, and then I will show you some in-game photos that I took of them that I really love. I think they turned out really good and I worked really hard on them and I kind of want to show them off. So I will show you the process. There's 4 of the girls that I actually did record their process, so I'll show the process of that after I show the 2 girls that I just have the end product of, I guess. And then after that I'll show you the in-game photos that I took after each, like, you know, cast process for the specific sim. So let's get into the first one. This is the first girlie I made, and she was for a prompt on a Cymbeline challenge on Instagram by a creator. I'll put their name on the screen. And the prompt, I think, for that day was playing with fire, and so I kind of made a human version, a dragon human version. Now I do have some tails in my game as well, or CC tails. However, the one that is the color that I would like it to show up clips with the wings, and then the others will take the color of her cheeks, which is not necessarily what I want. I would have wanted like a red tail, so I left the tail and I just kept it like this. These wings and also the fire in her hand is from Natalia Auditor, and then the little outfit that she has on here is from Lambs, and then, or LAMZ, and then this tights is just from Vampires. The boots are from Ravens, or Raven, or Regina Raven, and then the horns that she has on, which is a little bit difficult to see because the boots kind of props her up a little bit, that is from Satterley. And yeah, so that is the first girl that I worked on, and now I'll show you some of her in-game photos that I took for her. I took those in Forgotten Hollow, and I freaking love them. I really do love them. The in-game photos I never usually take because they take a bit long to do. I'll usually just do photos in cast, but for Halloween or for the month of October, I kind of wanted to go all out and stuff like that. And then for the next sim that I made, it's this girlie over here, and she was for the prompt Flora and Fauna. I don't know, I've been seeing this mushroom hat a lot, and I kind of wanted to make my own sim with this version. I also built like a mushroom cafe, and so I was thinking maybe she can own that cafe. I don't really plan on playing with these sims in my game, so that's why I didn't think I was going to upload them. If there is something that you see and you really want them, and I don't mention who the creator is, you can let me know in the comments. I just didn't think I needed to upload these sims because they're very specific characters, and unless you have a specific storyline that you think you can incorporate them into, I don't see why anybody really would want to download these. But yeah, this was the next sim that I made. This hat is from Bella's Sims, I think. You can see, oh, let me just turn up my accessibility because I usually turn it down for when I take photos. So it's from the creator Palace Sims, you can see over there. And then I don't remember where I got these mushrooms from, but I definitely downloaded them from Sims resource. The outfit here is from Dan Sims Fantasies, I think. Okay, so I was correct, this is from Dan Sims Fantasy. And yeah, so those are the 2 girls that I did end up making without recording. I named her Amanita muscaria because that's actually the scientific name for red mushrooms, and I couldn't think of any other name for her, so I just named her that. And I did give them kind of like traits and stuff associated with their characters, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not really gonna play with them. But I do have a character save file, so who knows, maybe I will end up playing with them at some point. I was just tired of creating these kind of sims in my normal save file, so I was like, let me just start a save file where I will do, you know, all of the characters that I intend on making in the future. So for her, I will show you her in-game photos. I took these photos in Sylvan Glade, which, if you are not aware, is a little secret world in Willow Creek. So there's a tree that you can enter in Foundry Cove of Willow Creek, but you have to like finish a riddle, and if you get it right, you'll go to the secret world. And I just like to take all of my photos there that has to do with fairies or whimsical nature sims, so that's where I took her. But let's go into the next sim. She was a siren, and she is probably my favorite one. Okay, so this is the starting point for the siren that I made. Usually I like to first get the features right, so I will change the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Sometimes I will even leave them like that just so that my Sims are like different from one another, because I tend to gravitate towards certain things in my skin details, and so sometimes my Sims can end up looking the same, and same face syndrome is something that I'm afraid of. I think that's why one of the Sims that took me the longest to make was Icy from the Wings Club, and I think she'll be made next, or yeah, I think she's second. And the reason why was because I thought that she was looking the same like every other Sim. So that is something that I am aware of, but I tend to usually just leave the features if I do like them, and if I don't, then I will go in and, you know, choose different ones. I don't like going into detailing mode and messing with eyes or lips, because sometimes if I do, it's really hard to get them to where I had them before, or I'll mess it up or so on. So I just prefer to just use the presets that I have, and then if I feel like it's really necessary to go in and adjust the lips a little bit or adjust the eyes a little bit, I will. But that's like a last resort for me. And so yes, the reason why my Sims look the way that they do is because I do have a lot of skin details. I use a lot from Northern Siberia Winds, Poyo Poyo. So it's spelled Poyopyo. And then Obscura Sims is also really good. And then I'm trying to think of, I know there's a few more creators that I like to use, like Eno Sims, which is spelled EUNO, and then Sims, Twisted Cat. So yeah, that's just like to mention a few, and if I think of any others, then I will mention them. And that's where you get, these different skin features or textures and the angling of your Sims. You can also get different jaw presets, eye presets, nose presets, mouth presets than we have in the game. I also try to make sure that I have skin details in many categories, so that if the way the skin details work is that um, within the first few rows you can put on something, and then in the next few rows you can put on something, and so you can layer them. But sometimes something that you really want to put on will be in the same category as another thing that you want to put on, so I try to make sure that whatever that is, I may have it maybe like in a different subcategory of skin details, or I'll have it in tattoos or whatever. Sometimes the creators don't make them in other categories, and that makes it really difficult, but usually I'll just find something else from a different creator. And then for her, I wanted it to be very angled. I feel like when it comes to villains, because sirens are kind of like perceived as villains, they're very angled features. So you'll see that I put a very strong contour on her. That contour was from Obscura Sims. And then now I'm just going in and doing her makeup. I wanted her makeup to be kind of like calling to the colors in a tail and whatever. So originally I wanted to go with dark blue because that is my favorite color. My favorite color is like a sapphire blue, and so I kind of wanted to do that with her. But the tail that I ended up using had more of a teal color than dark blue, which you can kind of see in the forehead now what I was going for. But I ended up leaning more towards the teal color. And then for contacts for eyes, I'm not sure where those contacts are from, but I'm going to go back to the one that was kind of like murky that she had on before. I just felt like that looked like maybe she is always underwater, and also I wanted her eyes to be enticing but dangerous. And then the reason why we're flipping through, the hairs and stuff, is because I end up with the hair that you see now, but it took me so long to figure out that I wanted this hair. I really liked the curly hair, the Maxis Match curly hair that I had on before, but I used that on Laguna Blue. She's also like a sea creature, so I just felt like I didn't want to repeat that, so I decided to go with this one instead. This one is a Second Life conversion, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember where this is from, and to get Second Life conversions, it's a little bit of a trickier process, because not a lot of creators that create for Second Life, which is also a kind of like a life sims game, I guess. I've never played it, I've never seen it, so I don't actually know what it is. I some creators will convert it and you can find them, but you can't find them you can't find them easily. And these hairs are huge because they are alpha hairs, so alpha hairs tend to have or tend to take up a lot more space than maxes. Recently actually I've been using more maxis match hairs, and I've been wanting to maybe make the shift to using maxis match hairs, but there are just some alpha hairs that I really love, and so I would never let go, and also that I've searched for like a really long time. So I don't think I'll ever let go of alpha, but I definitely want to get into using more maxis match, you know, things. And then that ears that you saw me put on, you can kind of see it through her hair right now. That's actually going to be removed at one point because I wanted to put on a headdress for her. My idea is that she's kind of like the HBIC of the sirens, you know, so I wanted her to have a dress, but the ears that she currently has on is also in that category, so I had to find different ears. Luckily I do have a pair of like earrings that look like mermaid ears. You can't really see them anyways because of her hair, so I just put them on in any event because they kind of are poking through the hair a little bit, so you can kind of see that she does have mermaid ears, I guess is what I'm going to call them. And then for her, the thing that she has on her body right now, that's also from Sims Fantasy. Once again, they make really nice outfits and stuff for your fantasy, whimsical, non-realistic, you know, Sims. And so I use them a lot when I am busy with characters or Halloween characters. And also back to alphas, I really like to use alphas for characters as well. With Max's Match, their hairs are beautiful. You can find absolutely beautiful hairs from different creators, but I feel like there is not really very unique hairstyles when it comes to Max's Match. Or something that I find difficult to find with Max's Match hairs is length, so like really long hairs that look realistic, and so that's why I tend to like alpha hairs more. But I also love Max's Match. I'm a Max's Mix kind of girl, so I am not, you know, discriminatory against either or. I think you can make beautiful Sims if you just make Max's Match, beautiful Sims if you just use alpha, and then beautiful Sims obviously if you use both. And then the gloves that she has on is from Simsonico. Simsonico is also a really good CC creator for character like Sims, especially if you're into things like Infinity Nikki. They make a lot of Infinity Nikki style outfits. The only downside I would say is that they make it only in the specific swatch. So sometimes I will find an outfit from them and be like, you know, this is perfect for the Sim that I'm making, but it just won't come in the right swatch because they only make it for one swatch. Sometimes they'll have like 2 swatches, maybe 3 swatches, but I am yet to find an outfit where they include an array of swatches, but the outfits are so high quality. They make really good accessories as well, so like gloves and stockings and hats and neck pieces and stuff that you don't necessarily have to use with that outfit. You can use with different outfits. That's what I like to do because like I said, the outfits that they make is very specific to certain Sims and or a certain kind of style when it comes to Sims. So I don't usually use the outfits, but I'll use everything else that they made for that outfit, like the gloves and the stockings and whatever, just because that's a bit more versatile. And then also the necklace, and I put like a belt on her tail as well. That's also I think from them Dan Sims Fantasy. I can't remember if this tail is as well. And the reason why I chose this tail is because I feel like the fraying or the fins on the tail kind of looks more evil-esque. It looks like it's coming up, like, I don't know how to explain it, but the other tails that you saw me try on were too proper for me, I guess. I just felt like this tail looked like it belonged to an evil mermaid, and that's why I kept it. It's kind of long and huge though. So I think I might look for a different one for her if I ever play with her and change it out, but for now that is the tail that I went with. And here are the photos that I made for her. They turned out so good, and I think they are my favorite because the colors, these are my favorite colors. I did do a little bit editing on our photos. The other photos that you see is just me taking in-game, but I did a little bit editing on her photos to make the color of the water more vibrant. And I took her photos at the Electric Lagoon in the new world that came with the adventure awaits back, BB Point I think it's called. And so yeah, I currently doing Icy from the Wings Club. She probably took me the longest because I love the Wings Club. It's very nostalgic to me. I'm currently rewatching it. Actually, I'm on season 3 because I just watched the new, the new thing that they put out. And I don't know, I was kind of watching it in the background as I was playing Sim, so I don't think I was taking as much note of what was going on. They look fine. I think they ate with like the tricks and also the school. I think it looks nice in the new one. The movements are really robotic and the storyline is very fast paced in the new one. There's things obviously from the original storyline that, or from this new storyline, that was not in the original storyline, like Bloom having a twin brother all of a sudden and having to share her very strong powers with this boy that came out of nowhere. I don't like it. I really don't like it at all. Like, and that being also Flora's love interest. Like, where's Elia? Elia was one of my favorite boys from the, what are they called now again? I forget, but hopefully Elia will come back at one point and Flora will forget about this new boy because I don't like him. I don't like him at all. But anyways, yeah, so I just decided afterwards, after I watched that I really wanted to revisit the old series. And then I got the idea to make Icy. I don't know why I went with Icy first. I think it's because I've always liked Icy, like how she looks, more so than obviously a personality and a character and whatever. But yeah, I just like how Icy looks, and I guess that's why she's my first Wings addition to my save file, I guess. But yeah, so as you saw, I was changing up some of the features. Now when I make a character based on a movie or series or whatever, I usually don't use CC that is made for that specific character. But when I was looking for hairs for Icy, it was really difficult to find anything that looked similar to her hair, so that I wasn't using the exact hair. So I instead opted to use her exact hair. I just did not find anything in this high ponytail look. Even searching through Alpha CC, I had one. It's from Kotok, but the ponytail wasn't high enough. It wasn't snatching her as much as I think that ponytail would if it was real life. So I removed that one. I don't love this one because I just feel like it makes the shape of her face look weird. I think it's also why I was struggling with her a little bit, with the the high arched eyebrows, which she does have and which I did want to keep because I think that is true to a character. And then with the shaping of the hair in the front, I just felt like they were conflicting in my mind a little bit, which is why this is like my third attempt making her. She was actually the first Sim that I tried to make out of the bunch of girls, but I just scrapped the first and then scrapped the second, and then I think maybe this is the third or the fourth, it could be either, that I tried to make her and then record her as well. But yeah, I was just so aware also at this point of the fact that I may be making her look similar to a lot of my other Sims, but then I feel like also every Simmer has their Sim style or how they like their Sims to look. So I think, I just have some style that I like to use for my Sims. So I did get it to a place where I liked her, obviously, because I'm posting her. But I do think that if I end up making maybe like Darcy and Stormy, I will go in and tweak her a little bit. I may find CC that fits more. Let me know if you want to see me make Darcy and Stormy and maybe the other girls in my Sim style, obviously. And then for her face is also very angled. I think it's like just in keeping with that whole villain thing where they have very angled features, very sharp features. And so I was trying to have that with her face, and so you'll see I put a lot, like really strong contouring on her. She has a very small nose as well in the old series and in the new series, so that I feel like does conflict a little bit with like the sharper features and stuff. So I did try to keep that, but I think I do make it a little bit sharper later on. Her face changed at so many points. She took me the longest. And I am going to be making 2 outfits for her. So I'll make the first outfit, which is a transformation outfit, and then I'll make a second one, which is like the one that she usually wears. And it's pretty consistent throughout the series. I think her outfits, I think they only change in later seasons, but I'm doing the earlier seasons versions. And then the new show also takes on the earlier seasons versions of Icy. It may probably change as the seasons go on, but yeah. And then I also tried to find, she has this blue eyeshadow that literally goes all around her eyes. I could only find eyeshadow that I had that was like really spaced out on the top, but not necessarily on the bottom section. It's fine, I kept that. I think the eyeshadow that I do end up using on her is either from Twisted Cat or yeah, I forget the other creator that it might be from, but I think I did use Twisted Cat on one of our eyeshadows. The eye contacts I can't remember, but I'm gonna go for a other shade of blue than the one that she has on at the moment. And then you would see that when I am doing my skin details, so I will go through all of the rows and the categories in my skin details, and then there are subcategories as well for forehead, for eyes, for nose, for cheeks. And then I will go in, or not nose, I think it's lips, yeah. And I'll go in and do that. And then I also have skin details in tattoos, which sometimes you'll see me go into tattoos and it will remove everything from her. So that's when I'm usually searching for my skin details in the tattoos category. But with my tattoos, I don't know, ever since I guess the tattoo update, when I go and try and take off something from her, it will not come off of her without me removing everything that I've put on her in that category. I don't know if it may be a conflict with a mod that I have, but I don't have any exceptions at the moment, and I don't know if it is a mod. I just think maybe since, businesses and hobbies, it's been like that, where if I've mistakenly put something on in tattoos and I want to remove it, I either have to put on something in the same, section that removes it, or I have to take off everything and then just like start over. I don't know what that is, but yeah. And then a lot of my contacts are in the face masks section. I don't use the normal eye colors that are in eyes. I like the ones that I have in the face mask section alone. I also don't have just one set of contacts that I use. I use different contacts. Like, I'm not fussy at all, but a lot of my contacts comes from Praline Sims, Northern Siberia Winds, Poya Poya, and then there's one that I'm forgetting that I really, really love, that I always get contacts from as well. If I recall what it is before I upload this video, I will put it on the screen as well. But yes, we are starting on our outfit now. Now, because this was my third attempt, I kind of knew what I wanted to do for our outfit. So for our outfit, the cloak that she has on is actually necklaces, and I don't remember any except for the boots tights combo, which is actually a shoe, so she actually doesn't have pants on. Or is this in pants? It's no, I think it's only in shoes, so she doesn't actually have pants on. But that's from Sentate. The gloves are from Sentate, and I know that Icy has like more also of a teal color in her armor. I know that I probably will add a photo of Icy, so that for those who don't know who Icy is, or have never watched Wings, or maybe you haven't watched Wings in a while, I will put a photo so that I can show you what's like my reference. So I was trying to find in the teal. I did not succeed with the color scheme, so I went with this darker color scheme for her. I still think it looks really nice. Those eyebrows were bothering me that I had on, but she does have very, very thin eyebrows, and I wanted to stay true to that. This is my second outfit, so I finished the first outfit kind of. The makeup that you saw there is what I left off with, but I did end up using what I used on a second outfit. If I show the makeup here, I will, let you know what eyeshadow I use, but I did change it to the one that I put on the second outfit. And for the second outfit, blue is a little bit more vibrant than the one that I end up using, but these are the only you know, items that I could find that kind of matched what she has on in the second outfit, and also, or in a actual outfit. Like, this is a everyday normal outfit that she usually wears. And then I went with this hair from Leah Lilith, which is actually supposed to be the hair from one of the girls in K-pop Demon Hunters, but I just felt like I didn't like the hair. So I went searching, you know, like 3 days after I'd finished her, and I was busy with a different girl, and so I found a different hair from Enrique that's more of a high ponytail that I think would pass for you know, the hair that she usually has. So usually she has the same hair as the one in the original outfit for her, or in a transformation outfit for her everyday outfit, but I didn't want to, you know, duplicate the hair. I want a different hair for some reason, and so I just you know, changed the hair. So you'll see that in the photos that I include. And then this eyeshadow, I actually put this eyeshadow on her original outfit, and then I made the same eyeshadow I kept, and I used it in a lighter swatch for this outfit. And then one thing I did struggle with for this outfit is finding a belt that was low rise enough to be on her skirt as it is in the series. And so I did end up just leaving the belt. But yes, so these are the photos. The first photos was taken in what's the world that comes with Snowy Escape, and then the second bunch was taken in the magic realm of the realm of magic pack, so Glimmerbrook. That's where I took the second set of photos for. So you could have seen, or you would have seen there, that I changed her hair. But now we've moved on to the third sim, and this third sim, she's gonna be like a tormented jester. I think I also got this idea from a Cymbeline challenge, but from a different one on Instagram. And so yeah, I am just, you know, starting out with her. I did love the face base, but the thing is, the face really didn't matter because it's going to be covered up by clown paint. And for her, what I struggled with was finding an outfit. So at some point this video is going to cut and it's going to transition to her being halfway dressed, and it's because eventually I found a dress that I think matched. And then the face paint that you saw on her, that I got from Magic Bot, and I really liked the lips because I wanted to create a jester that was just looked like a menace, I guess, but maybe also had like a sadness to it, that maybe it's overworked and it just performs, and so its eyes are like bloodshot red, and if you look really closely, there's actually veins popping out from the eyes and stuff. I try to make evil sims, but I fail every time. And so I do think that the sim, even though it has this evil makeup and whatever, and the red or bloodshot eyes, it still ends up looking a little cute. Maybe I'll try for next week's sims, and see if I can finally manage to make, you know, a evil sim. So this is the dress that I eventually found. I had a whole other outfit that I'd constructed from like a skirt, a top, gloves, and then a corset, and just so many different things, but it wasn't really giving the jester like outfit that I wanted. I wanted this kind of structured dress shape. This is actually a really old piece of CC. I don't even know how I managed to find this, but I was so worried that when I went into the download that it would no longer be, you know, it would be corrupted or whatever, because it just looked so old. It looked like when the game was originally launched is when this piece of CC was put out. Luckily it worked, and it worked really well. So for the gloves as well, I went with this red, that patterned gloves that you see on there, and at some point I changed it to red striped gloves, and I don't know if it was included, and I did not like it, and I had taken all of her photos and everything already. And then yesterday, while I was watching this back and editing it, I was like, I don't like that gloves. Also, what I went with is I just put a lace bodysuit to fully cover her arms, and then I went with the clown shaped gloves around her hands, or like bracelets around her hands. and I made everything black. So you'll see that in the photos. Unfortunately, I don't really remember where I got everything from for her. So maybe I'll put like the names on the screens of where I got it. But again, if you want anything, let me know, and I will either upload the sim or I will upload a list of the CC on my Patreon. And then the only thing that I do remember is the hair. That is from Simplicity or Simpliciate, or however you say the name. And then the thing that's around her neck at the moment, that's like really close up to her chin, that is from Strange Storyteller Sims, and it's a accessory that you can place under your shirts. Yeah, it's very useful because it comes in bracelets, so you can have that under the shirt and then still have a different top on. And it doesn't conflict with a lot. Right now it's actually conflicting with the gloves that's on her, or the bracelets that's on her hands. So it was red, but I just ended up making everything black, as you can see in her photos right now. So I built this entire set at the back. For a lot of the, except for the mermaid, I had to kind of like add in, for example, with the plant sim, I added in mushrooms. For the, I didn't add in anything for the girl. So sometimes for the fire girl or raven, whatever I called her, sometimes I will do a little bit of set dressing for the in-game photos, which is also why it takes so long. And I remember that when I was building this set for her, I was having a lot of crashing issues. So photos had taken me so long with the red striped gloves, and then I decided yesterday last minute that I didn't like the red striped gloves anymore, and so I went and redid all of our photos. So, you know, I do love how the photos turned out, and I definitely do prefer the outfit with the lace instead of the red striped gloves that I had initially. So for this sim, this is the last sim. I actually tried her out first before, or I tried her outfit out before I did her. And the reason why is because I was looking for a specific kind of cloak for her. She is going to be a Grim Reaper, and a kind of like, I got inspired by also the Cymbeline challenge that I did. The prompt was faceless, but there is also a prompt for Grim Reaper, and so I kind of think I merged the two or whatever. So this is the result of that. So faceless and Grim Reaper kind of becoming one. I was looking for something to make the sim kind of like faceless, and the only thing that I could think of was to make only her eyes show and to mask up the rest of her face. So that was what I was going with first, but then I added a scythe, and then she kind of became a Grim Reaper. So that's what I am going with, a faceless Grim Reaper. But then again, you can kind of see her eyes, so is she really faceless? But anyways, I really love these eyes, and I wish I remembered the creator that they are from. I think they may be from Obscurus Sims. They glow so beautifully, and I kind of wanted her to be grayish, a dead color, you know, because she's a Grim Reaper or whatever. I wanted her to look lifeless, but I still wanted her to look hot, you know. So the thing that I struggled with looking for her as well was her dress, and then this cloak that I had in mind. So for her dress, I searched and searched, and I finally found one by Moriel Sims, or just Moriel, Moriel. And I was hoping that it would be a little bit longer. I even looked up like more t-shirt style dresses because I really wanted the big sleeves from, you know, that dress, but I could not find one, so I went with the one from Moriel, which is a little bit shorter than what I wanted, but yeah, I think it turned out well. Anyways, there was a photo that I was inspired by for her, so if I remember, I will include the photo. But I wanted everything to look flowy. I wanted it to look like she was kind of floating a little bit when she walked, but because the dress is so short, I don't think it really gives that effect. However, she still looks so good. So this is the dress that I went with. The veil that I have on right now is from San 333, or Asan 333. I did find one from Simsonico, but like I said, they only make you know, the veils or the things in a certain swatch, and that came in white. It was the perfect veil. It had such a beautiful pattern on the front, but unfortunately, because it was white, I did not use it. So what I ended up doing is the things that are kind of hanging at the back of her right now is conflicting with something else. So I placed a cover up from Evil Sims over her arms so that it gave the big sleeves effect, and that cloak at the back of her is conflicting with that lace cover up, and so it just worked out so well and gave the effect that I wanted for her. I kind of discovered that by mistake, and sometimes I will just use the glitch if it's glitching in my favor. So that's exactly what I did here. And then I just added some darkened you know, skin coloring to her. I think that is by Pyxis or whatever. I don't know how to say the name, but I think it's Pyxis. I think it's that creator. And then I just put some things on her legs as well to cover it up. But that is all for this Halloween themed sim style video. Let me know which one is your favorite. Let me know what you think about any of the in-game photos that I showed. Also, we want to see, you know, for the next few days of October that we still have left. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you do want to be here for more Sims videos and build videos in the future when I do return to building. But thank you so much for being here, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.